Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sayede Hejazi, research intern at Human Rights at Sea Organization. I feel to be honored and privileged to be speaking at this gathering today. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Professor Mr. Faradi for the invitation, and I would like to express my appreciation to the FIMS conference organizers for their support and technical assistance. Today, I'm presenting my topic about seafarers' advancement. I am aware of the seniority of this audience, and I will assume you have knowledge on these seafarers' advancement issues. For this reason, I try to be short and concise. Shipping is one of the fast-growing and most dynamic industries in the world today. It makes a significant contribution to the prosperity and wealth of nations. It has been said that without ships, half of the world would freeze and other half would starve. Approximately 1.1 million seafarers serve daily on worldwide fleet of over 100,000 ships that transport over 90% of world trade. In terms of legal protection, under international law, seafarers are classified as labor and workers. In fact, they are regarded as belonging to a special category of workers because they are subject to different national jurisdictions. That's why the possibility of abuses is not removed. Their lives involve physical abuses, such as beating and sexual assault, and mental abuses arise from isolation that seafarers suffer. Non-payments and delay in wages and entitlements, which very much affects the seafarer's family, are additional aspects of abuses in seafarers' advancement. In my point of view, seafarers' advancement is a case of mental and physical abuses and a type of torture to seafarers. The cruise can go for many months and sometimes years with no pay and little hope of repatriation. Paradoxically, seafarers have plenty of rights and plenty of resources to obtain their rights. Seafarers are entitled to receive human rights, labor and welfare rights, and rights to life. They have rights to have equal protection of law, and they are entitled to receive rights to wages, rights to have reasonable working hours and holidays. They have rights to receive medical treatment for sickness and injuries. For instance, the ILO, International Labour Organization, 164 conventions gives rights to health protection and medical care to seafarers. This obliges all state parties to ensure facilities are available. Facilities such as the right to visit a doctor without delay and free of charge, or to have medical advice by radio or satellite communication at sea. Ship owners are required to insure seafarers under compulsory sickness insurance scheme. Advancement at sea occurs for a number of reasons. It's often a calculated economic decision by a ship owner facing bankruptcy and insolvency, or it can be due to the arrest of vessel by creditors. In many cases, vessels are abandoned after they are deemed unseaworthy by inspectors. In abandonment, the ship owner fails to meet financial and social obligations. When the ship owner fails to cover the cost of seafarers' repatriation, or if the ship owner sets a leaving seafarers behind the ship, or he has left them on board the ship without the necessary maintenance and support, such as adequate food, water, accommodation, or unpaid wages for at least 2 months. I would like to give an account of a specific case of abandonment. Last July, The Human Rights Action Organization received a report about the seafarers of the oil tanker IBA abandoned in Dubai. The seafarers were from India, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan. The report concerns the detention of seafarers on board a shipwreck without necessary maintenance, without food, water. The Alco Shipping Services, the ship owner, had left the seafarers on board shipwreck and he had failed to provide food, water, essential fuel to seafarers. During the abandonment, food and water had to be provided by Indian consulate as the national country of one of the crews in the UAE. The ship owner refused to organize the crew's documents, and all of their correspondence with the ship owner on this point had been ignored. For example, the crew's passport had been taken on their sign-on date and had not been returned on sign-off date despite repeated requests. When the crew aroused their safety concern with their ship owner, they were threatened them with a criminal procedure if they were to report their concern to local authority. To continue, the crew members of the ship have begun to encounter a multitude of emotional and legal problems. They were a long way from home and families. The crew were facing serious health problems. They were suffering from an undiagnosed skin condition for almost 3 months, and ship owner denied medical care facilities. The crew had not been paid for almost 6 months, being detained on board the shipwreck for almost 5 months, and being unpaid for almost 6 months is classified as illegal detention and a type of mental torture of the seafarers and their families. To continue, I must also mention that the port state, which is the UAE, and the flag state of the ship also refused to facilitate medical treatment for the crew. It is the legal obligation of the ship owner as the first responder to provide the crew with financial and social security in such case. In this case, the ship owner had refused his responsibilities. The second responder is the flag state of ship, which is the UAE, and the port state, which is UAE, here failed to meet these obligations as well. They did not cooperate with the crew, but the crew did receive advocacy and investigative support from the Human Rights Action Organization. In this case, many provisions related to seafarers' rights had been expressly violated, such as United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, the Maritime Labour Convention, the amendments of 2014 on MLC, and the Regulation 93/22 of IMO. When difficulties arise, seafarers have various avenues they can pursue to obtain help. Sorry, I missed on that slide. So when difficulties arise, the seafarers have various avenues they can pursue to obtain help. The first and firmest resources of seafarers' rights is seafarers' contract of employment. The second resources is the flag state of the ship. The ship has the nationality of the flag that it flies. Under international law, the law of the flag states applies to ship regardless of the location of the ship and regardless to nationality of the seafarers. One of the important resources of seafarers' rights is the port state. It is important in terms of the security and safety of seafarers in the hosting port. When the ship enters a port, the port state can exercise power over the ship while it's in the port. However, in many jurisdictions, If seafarers have a legal claim, they will be able to start a legal action through the legal authorities of the port state. Seafarers' home state law, seafarers will be able to rely on their home state law. The seafarers' home countries should provide support and assistance through its consulate offices wherever seafarers need support. And the last one, international law and international legal framework, IMO. International laws are made at the highest level between states. The United Nations through ILO, which is International Labour Organization, and IMO, International Maritime Organization, has set international labor standards for all laborers, specifically seafarers, in more than 65 conventions and recommendations. What has been done to prevent abandonment? On a closer evaluation of the legal aspects of the seafarers' abandonments, ILO have ratified MLC as the financial security to prevent incidents of seafarers' abandonment. MLC is a compulsory provision to state parties which have ratified the MLC 2006. All state parties shall ensure the requirements are in place in ship flying of signatory states. Under MLC is as a financial security system which provides direct and sufficient access to cover payments of the outstanding wages and entitlements limited to 4 months. Under MLC, which is provide necessary maintenance and support including food, accommodation, drinking water, essential fuel for survivors on board ship. MLC provides the necessary medical care and it covers the cost of seafarers' repatriation. Under MLC, seafarers have maritime lien. And what is maritime lien? Is the right to obtain an order to prevent the ship owner to removing his ship from port or depending on the situation, and the national law to arrest the sister ship or other assets of the owner. By the maritime lien, seafarers can sell the ship and cover their claims for wages. If the ship owner fails to meet the cost of repatriation, the ship flag state must arrange for the seafarers' repatriation. If it is failed to do so, the country to which seafarers are to be repatriated or the country of which they are nationals may arrange the repatriation and recover the cost from the flag state of the ship. When the ship is not subject to MLC, if seafarers could not obtain the rights through MLC, in this circumstance, there is a Seafarers Emergency Fund, CEF, which may provide seafarers with accommodation, food, water, and medical assistance and the cost of their repatriation. In addition, seafarers should consider the additional rights that they might have under the international laws of the country in which they have been abandoned. However, MLC applies to a wide range of ship operations on international and national domestic voyages and is compulsory to all state parties who have ratified the IMO and ILO conventions. Thank you very much.